Welcome to Best of Reddit. Be sure to subscribe as we upload new content daily. A few years after I started my business, I was asked to clean up and optimize a number of PCs in multiple locations, as well as set up some forms and templates for a new client who owned a local restaurant. The work, all labor apart from a little travel, was performed over the space of a month due to scheduling conflicts and school holidays, but, on completing the last of it, the client confirmed verbally that he was happy with all I'd done, and to go ahead and send an invoice. I duly emailed an invoice for a sum just in excess of £400. I waited for payment. Never heard anything, sent reminder emails, called and left messages, but no response. Eventually, a couple of busy months had passed and I met the client by chance in the local supermarket. On asking why he'd not paid or been in touch, he said that all the PCs were as bad as they had been before I'd started, and that he had tried to contact me with no success. As my landline and mobile phone had caller display as well as answering services, and there had been no emails, I knew the latter was BS, and as any PC user knows, a system can easily go back to pot if the user bad habits don't change. So I contacted a local debt collector, gave him the details, printouts of my call logs and post-invoicing emails, and he took them to the restaurateur. On his return, his words were, "He's not disputing the invoice, he's saying that the work wasn't done right, so it's his word against yours." I queried if it was worth taking the guy to small claims, to which the debt collector said, even if you could prove he confirmed he was satisfied with the work, they might insist you get his computers back to their pre-invoice state again. Do you really want to spend more time doing that? Of course the answer was no, so I stewed it over in my mind and came up with a plan. At this point it was late November, so, creating 2 throwaway email accounts in female names, I got in touch with the restaurant to book a large party for Valentine's night the following February. I put it down as my husband's surprise 40th birthday party, confirmed that my husband's sister, and CC'd her in the message with the other throwaway, couldn't make the journey north, but would happily pay the £10 per head deposit as her share towards the night. Of course, as time went on, the ideas grew arms and legs. The numbers attending increased, until the owner suggested he'd reserve the whole restaurant for the evening, and they'd happily arrange the seating to suit us. But could I ensure the deposit was sorted ASAP, please? Of course I confirmed that the sister was a scatterbrain and that I'd ensure the check was with him very soon. He emailed the sister using the CC address and she confirmed it had been posted. To keep him on side, I asked for a proposed menu in advance so that I could send it to all the attendees for pre-ordering. Naturally they were delighted that they'd know this, as it makes their life much easier. Consequently, the numbers for all 3 courses were emailed in, with a few fussy eater variables thrown in for good measure. Needless to say, by the beginning of February he was getting quite antsy about there being no sign of the deposit, but I reassured him that the sister's check must have been lost in the post, so she'd send another by special delivery, if they could ensure someone was there to sign for it. I knew the owner lived about 25 miles away, and the restaurant didn't open till 5 p.m., so he'd have to come in very early and hang around waiting for it. A week before D-Day, and he'd obviously had enough. He emailed in a spat saying they'd turned away numerous inquiries, had no deposit, and could no longer hold back on taking other bookings. This time I didn't bother replying. My part was done. My wife, at the time, and I were booked in at another restaurant close by for our own Valentine's meal, after which we took a walk past the restaurateur's business premises to see just 2 cars in their parking lot, one of which was his. I'm not sure how much he must have lost out on that night, but knowing his prices I'd bet it was significantly more than the £400 I'd invoiced him. Of course lessons were learned by me too. Get written or emailed confirmation of job satisfaction for one, and not letting new clients go unbilled for too long was another. Naturally I had no hesitation letting all and sundry know how he'd behaved either, so he was blacklisted, or forced to pay up front for any work, by IT and other professionals I knew locally. Next up we have, I was fired and made the company lose over £100,000. So I used to work at a family-run builders merchants and was a trade sales advisor. I was fired for bringing up health and safety concerns in an email sent to a manager and for the fact I was apparently unhappy in my role. I did nothing wrong but they still sacked me. Now when I worked there I had clients that I had built good relationships with and even become friends with some of them. They would get me beers and whiskey at Christmas or have BBQs and so on outside of work. Anyway, back to the revenge. I was fired, which in my opinion was unfair, and it was during this COVID-19 pandemic. I had worked the entire way through it until I was fired. So I wanted revenge. I contacted multiple clients, friends, and most of them say okay, we won't use that company if they treat the staff the way they did to me. One client easily spends over £100,000 a year easily in the top 3 customers they had. He used them because I would get him the best prices, etc., etc. As soon as I'm fired, I call him and let him know what happened, and he straight away promises not to use them again. So big middle finger to the owners of that crap hole. I hope you learn to treat your employees better or go under. Slight update, just reading comments. I did contact ACAS, they are investigating. Health and safety executives did visit and told him to put a few things right, but nothing else. I did have video and photo evidence of one accident actually happening and many other issues. I don't have a copy of the email, but ACAS can find it on their internal mail system as it never truly disappears. Also, all clients I contacted were friends. I didn't contact a huge list of clients, just a handful, letting them know I no longer worked for the company. They asked why I got fired and I gave them an honest answer. I did not ask them to stop using them, as at the end of the day if they offer the best prices they would still use them, but that's not the case. Finally we have, hey, can you fix my daughter's laptop for free? Multiple times. I feel this a moral pro-revenge, but if mods and others don't agree, please feel free to remove it. A bit of backstory, personal beliefs. I'm willing to help my friends, but we all know someone who has or have themselves a friend who is the group mooch. The kind of person who knows you're getting together and just shows up nothing in hand and expects to be given free food, booze the entire time. Yet sadly you put up with them till it gets to the breaking point of wanting to beat them senseless with a shovel. This story is about said friend whom I finally got to the breaking point with. My moocher friend isn't tech savvy, like it all. He has zero respect for tech and constantly uses me as his go-to man when stuff goes sideways, almost always his doing. This is from the olden days of Windows 8 being a fresh hot mess that was the next big thing everyone hated because it took the standard Windows interface, beat it over the head with a bat, tossed the bloody corpse into a wood chipper, then proceeded to light the remaining slurry on fire with military-grade napalm. I hate Windows 8, in case you didn't pick up on that. He had recently bought a laptop for his daughter since she was starting to need it for school, and he wanted a mobile PC to use when he felt like it. Pretty sure he just wanted it for himself but needed to convince the wife to okay the expense. Instead of asking me for input, he decided he was just going to go to Big Blue Multi-Story and buy cheapest laptop model that rhymes with Bell. It took less than a day of him fighting with it to call me, ask if I'd put Windows 7 on it because he hated Windows 8. I asked why not return it and get a Windows 7 model, to which he responded, Big Blue doesn't have any Windows 7, only 8, and my daughter really needs this computer. Sure she does. I agree, and he drops it off within an hour. I should note that this happened just after Windows 8 dropped and there was no classic shell programs out that simply said, screw off new piece of junk tablet design, we're using the old one everyone knows and can use, so my options were limited. Did an initial look at what I was getting myself into, and lucky me, Dell had only put out drivers for Windows 8 for this model. Yay. I do about 6 hours worth of hunting, downloading, tweaking drivers, and praying, cursing the tech gods as I installed Windows 7. I had to cherry-pick working drivers for most of the hardware, the rest I got to work through sheer trial and error. I made a restore disk, backed up and labeled every driver for this system in individual numbered folders in case I needed to redo anything on this piece of crap. My friend is notorious for screwing up his computer's operating system. I give him a ring and let him know it's good to go, and he picks it up the next day. Less than 2 weeks later he texts saying something's wrong with it, it won't do blah blah blah, or I can't get it to do what I want. Shocking, I know. I just restore from the disk I made and give it back same day. Let's see how long this lasts. Almost a week later, same thing. Again a quick restore and I give it back. This time it took almost a whole 3 weeks till I got a text. Now I'm mad, what the heck is he doing to this thing to screw up the operating system? I finally took the time to look at the system and see WTF was going on. He had a bunch of cracked games downloaded and was trying to run those, a bunch of virus, malware on it, and a bunch of shady prawn sites in his browser history. I'm livid. The only reason I kept fixing this dang thing was because it was supposed to be his daughter's. I got a hold of his wife to see exactly who was really using the laptop and for what. Turns out he told her it was having issues and he was constantly trying to fix it at home and even took it to work to mess around with it when he had time. He was a manager at a hut that sells pizza. He's one of those real hands-on managers who let everyone know what needs to be done then screws off in the office. So I get the evil idea of fixing things my way. My first step to fixing things my way was to make an admin account that only I had the info for and limit the other account to a limited user. When I talked to his wife, I got a good idea of what his daughter really liked as far as shows, games, etc. I then proceed to pimp this laptop out for a 10-year-old girl. My Little Pony wallpapers, about 100 on rotate, the entire My Little Pony cartoon show stored directly on the computer, Bratz, Barbie, the works. I even redid the icons to a My Little Pony theme and tweaked the user interface to be pink, purple colored. I made sure there was a parental lock on the browsers to prevent anything prawn related from even showing up on the laptop. I installed TeamViewer and locked in my personal credentials so I could get on anytime I needed. And just for good measure I installed a handy program called Deep Freeze. For those unfamiliar with it, it snapshots the drive as is and restores the drive to that exact image every time the power cycles. Only downside to this program is you lose anything you save on the computer when the power cycles. Not a problem since I had gotten a bulk pack of thumb drives that were multicolored and came with lanyards. I even went a step above and beyond and got a My Little Pony skin for the laptop lid in case he thought of taking it to work again. I personally delivered the laptop this time when the wife and daughter were home. The girly high-pitched squeals of joy that nearly ruptured my eardrums made it all worth it. She went off on a joy-induced tirade as I show her and her mom everything I did, including all the shows and games I put on just for her. I then gave her a bright pink thumb drive with purple lanyard and explained that when she wanted to play the games or save anything the drive needed to be plugged in. I set the save path for all the games to the thumb drive and added a shortcut to the drive itself on the desktop to make sure she wouldn't lose any schoolwork she was doing. I made sure both her and her mom knew the thumb drive had to plugged in, otherwise things wouldn't be saved. I didn't mention the parental lock I set up or deep freeze. I wanted it to be a surprise for my friend later. Both her and her mom thanked me. I got a big hug from the daughter who was still flying around on cloud 9. She was begging her mom to watch My Little Pony with her before I even left. I knew it was only a matter of time till I got an angry call from my friend as soon as he got a chance to use the laptop. I was waiting with gleeful anticipation. I had dropped the laptop off on Monday and I knew he wouldn't get a chance to use it till Friday when he got back from a trip he took. Cut to Friday night and I get a call around 8 p.m., which I ignore and let go to voicemail. I get 3 more calls every 5 to 10 minutes which I also ignore. Then I get a bunch of texts which I ignored till about 11 p.m. when I figured he had ample time to try and screw with the laptop to only be shut down at every attempt. I call him up with an especially snarky attitude, acting half asleep just to peeve him off. Mooch. Finally, where have you been? I tried calling you and texting but you never responded. Me. Yeah, I had a long day so I took an evening nap. What's up? Mooch. What's up? This piece of crap laptop is busted, that's what's up. I can't get anything to work right. I downloaded a game and tried installing it but it says I don't have admin rights. I restarted it and the game files were gone completely so I re-downloaded it but still couldn't install it. It's not even letting me browse the web. I thought you fixed this. What the heck? Me. Calm down, I'm sure it's something simple. Let me remote in. Mooch. Wait, you can do that? Me. Yeah, I got sick of having to have it dropped off, so I installed remote software. Let's see. First thing I do is remotely restart the system. Mooch. It did it again. Me. What? Mooch. The game I downloaded is gone from the desktop. Me. Oh yeah, I put software on the laptop that restores it to a default setting. Anything not saved on an external drive gets removed. I gave your wife and daughter a thumb drive. Didn't they tell you it was needed? Mooch, no. What the heck? Why do you do a stupid thing like that? Me. Well, I've had to fix this thing 3 times already and I got sick of it, so I made sure anything you downloaded or tried to install would be deleted and blocked. You don't have admin rights, I do. Last time there was over a dozen viruses, malware from your games, and the games you were trying to run would barely run on this laptop even if you had legit versions. Mooch, what the heck? Insert 15-minute rant IDIDNT pay any attention to because I don't care. Well, why won't it let me browse the web? Me, are you sure? Let's see. I bring up Google and start browsing standard sites, hit a few cartoon sites I favorited for his daughter. Everything looks fine to me. Could you be referring to the prawn sites that were in the browser history on your daughter's laptop? Mooch, Me. Yeah, I thought so. See, me being the upstanding guy the first am, I turned on parental controls to keep web browsing safe for your 10-year-old daughter. The heck is wrong with you? Mooch, but. Me. No buts. It took a lot of work to get this thing working for your daughter's sake, and then you use it as your personal play toy, which I had to fix 3 times. I'm done with your bullcrap. I made it so your daughter can use her laptop when and how she needs. If you want to get your own laptop and screw it up beyond repair, that's fine by me. No more freebies if you screw something up being an idiot. If you think this is unfair, I'd be more than happy to let your wife know exactly what the issue with the laptop was, including screenshots of your browsing history. I don't mind helping, but you go above and beyond being a mooch a lot of times. Anything else you need help with? Mooch, no. Me. Have a great weekend. Click. Having spent over 18 years in customer service, tech support, so I went a bit nuclear on him, but I had enough of his crap. Reminded me of all too many times the problem isn't the hardware, software, it's the meat puppet smashing their face against the keyboard and wondering why stuff doesn't work. So I simply removed that part of the equation. Amazingly enough, he didn't have any more issues with that laptop. Wonder why? Only time I was gotten a hold of was by his wife asking me to update some things and install some software the daughter needed for school. Which I was more than happy to do.